Welcome back to SmackDown Vs Raw 2007 GM Mode. I am your host, attackslug, Phoenix, Arizona, October. On the schedule, just past No Mercy, and we have 3 more Raws until Taboo Tuesday, our next PPV. And on our lovely roster here, fatigue for JBL and Ray and Umaga a bit, Booker who has a 1 week concussion, and Lashley with 4 weeks on his deal there, which, look, I need a tag team division, don't I? If we avoid doing a stipulation, would that save us from any potential injury? Not sure. Cactus ready to get back in the ring today with Triple H. Hell yeah. Carlito still wants that shot at a title. Dude Love wants to win. Steve Austin is still hurt. And Triple H is ready to get back in the ring, as you will. Game. As you will in a cage match in our main event today on the show with Cactus for that world title. That's the plan on Monday Night Raw. Let's fix this bit of business. I don't know what happened that dropped Ray and Bam Bam, considering they worked the show last time, which is dumb. But your main event of the evening will not be Edge and John Cena. It will be for that world title, and it will be in a cage, and it will be your champion, Cactus Jack, and the return of the game to this broadcast. Lock it in. Match 5 will instead be for that IC title, and it will be, I don't know, hardcore, maybe? No, let's do a backstage brawl in the parking lot with John Cena. Hopefully enough stamina to do so. We'll see. Let's find out. Cena? Yeah, okay. And the Rated R Superstar Edge. Backstage parking lot IC title brawl. Number 2 promo. Again, we're heading towards Taboo Tuesday. Now that I think about it for a hot second, that we're heading towards Taboo Tuesday on a Sunday. Okay, sure. That's not how days work, SVR07. I just was like, wait a minute, hold on a second, playa. That's a Sunday. Anyhow, I can, now that I think about it, I can, on my roster, on my deal, with a currently concussed Booker T and a currently somewhat hurt Lashley, if I ran a JBL and RVD singles, that could work. With managers, obviously. So, on the schedule, on this Raw, not a tag team match, playa. It will be RVD, it will be JBL, and it will be a hardcore singles matchup. Should be fine, and hopefully keeps Lashley and Book from having a major injury. Thinking. Now, of course, if either RVD or JBL get hurt, that's a whole different story. But, yeah, we'll see. Anyhow, Trish and Melina, we did lose our 3rd individual here, so back into yonder free agency and see who's at the bottom of the list. It is the same as usual, the lovely Jillian Hall, and she is content, as is Candice. Mickie James is happy. How much would Mickie James be? 155 versus the content of Candice at 127 and the content of Jillian at 111. I suppose we should mix things up, so come on down, Mickie James, for 5 weeks to do the jobs that need to be done here on the red brand of Monday Night Raw. So, match number 3 will be a handicap match, because I want to keep this feud going over and over and over. And it'll be Melina and Trish versus Mickie James, non-title, hardcore contract. If we already have our hype for the pay-per-view, and we are down at $2 million, let's do some merchandise, shall we? Meanwhile, Umaga and Dude Love were in a parking lot brawl last time. This time, they will go tables, ladders, and chairs. And your opening contest, if the stamina will support it, we'll see Rey Mysterio and Bam Bam Bigelow. Okay on Bammers, but how about Rey and his knee that's had a lot of surgeries on it? He'll be fine. But I don't want to run a tables match, obviously. But I would like some kind of a stip. I don't want submissions, obviously. So what's it going to be? It's going to be Carlito 1-on-2 versus Bam Bam and Rey. And hopefully the 2-on-1 works. And it increases the pop where I want it to actually increase. Would be nice for once. This episode of Raw in Phoenix, Arizona. Handicap match, TLC, merchandise, handicap match, hardcore, hype, backstage brawl, and a solid steel cage match, which is a pretty solid show. All 6 rivalries are accounted for. Is there anything else worth looking at here on my lovely, wonderful roster? The only real stamina concern is JBL. And otherwise, hopefully, being as managers, that Book and Bob can stay out of that injury bit of business. It's a problem. 5 more weeks for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Good Lord. Okay, so on my schedule, Phoenix, Arizona. Let's lock this card in. That seems to be what it needs to be. Let's rock and roll. Can we beat SmackDown with this card? That's the question. Simulate the matchup, and thankfully, the right winners. Okay, Umaga and Dude Love, TLC. Dude Love gets the win, have mercy. Mickey versus Melina and Trish. It is hardcore country. Apparently, that one didn't work out the way I planned it to, but sure. When you ask yourself, how can they coexist? They can't. RVD versus JBL hardcore. The wrestling god wins the match. John Cena versus Edge parking lot brawl. Who walks out the IC champion? It is the rated R superstar Edge. And Cactus versus Triple H. Can Trips get his win and the title? Yes, he can. The game reigns supreme once again. Minor injury to John Cena. SmackDown 10,000. That's honestly, I'm not mad at 10,000. But Bret Hart has an expiring contract. Interesting. Curious. John Cena, strain quadriceps. You bum. So 5.6 for Raw and 4.3 for SmackDown. I wonder if I could hire Bret the Hitman Hart. A 4-week injury for John Cena, and he is in our IC title feud. That's a problem. At least Booker T is better, but what the hell? Fatigue-wise. And not even as bad as JBL. That's crazy. That's crazy. Morale. Content. I don't care. But John wants to win. Great, sure, fine, lovely. Meanwhile, rivalries, we have all 6. Thank you, video game. But let's check on those reports. SmackDown was a 3.5 star SmackDown. So 2.5, 3, 3, 3.5, 4, and 4. The Rock versus the Anvil for the World Heavyweight title in a submission match. 3.5 for Raw. It was 3, 3.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4. It is a very minor, even difference there on that. So kind of just 10K is nothing in this game. But we are headed towards another co-branded pay-per-view in Survivor Series, and that's going to be a concern. But before that, we have Taboo Sunday, not Tuesday. Meanwhile, Triple H and Bam Bam in that Power 25. My top 5 is Trips, Bam, Edge, Rey, and John Cena. Good for them, but an injured, minorly injured, John Cena. 2.3 mil in the bank. Let's check on the contracts. 2. Okay, here's where the cash just goes away. Once again, Edge and JBL, and Ray, obviously, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, who has not worked in weeks and weeks and weeks. It's a problem. But I'm not going to let SmackDown have him. So that ain't happening. 1.5, our lowest total budget since we started this show. Concerning. A little bit. Booker T, a full recovery, and John Cena, a minor injury for 4 weeks. Huh. Okay. Do we have Bret Hart? No, we don't. Perhaps after this Raw, maybe they won't re-sign him. However, I can check the SmackDown roster, and they re-signed him. So, wishful thinking there. They still have a full 20 on the roster. How do they have the money for a full 20 on the roster? I don't understand. Nashville, Tennessee. What does my stamina look like? What other stipulation do we need here for these two? How about a TLC match? Not in contention anymore. That's fun. As soon as Triple H won the belt back, then he's like, nah, back of the line, Cactus. That's annoying. The reign of terror continues. Meanwhile, John Cena and Edge, with a minor injury, are going to get a standard match. Just regular, standard, non-title. It should be okay, maybe. No guarantees. We also still have this nonsense, which again, back to a singles match with managers. Because we still have weeks left for a minor Lashley injury, and also the increasing fatigue of JBL. Trish and Melina, one-on-one, title on the line again. Umaga and Dude Love can do something else. How about some First Blood? And match number 1 with a reduced stamina on Ray means a ladder match for Ray and Bam Bam Bigelow. And of course, we're heading towards Taboo Tuesday, Sunday, and we hype up that Taboo Tuesday. Now, should I try sending someone to interfere over on SmackDown? I will send the Beast from the East to do that and wreak havoc on SmackDown. Let's check on that morale one last time and see if there's anything I need to address there on my rosters for morale as far as, alright, yeah, content, not that worried about it. Everyone's doing okay. It's fine. So, this episode of Raw, what's it gonna be when the card gets locked in? Will anyone else get hurt? I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, Bam Bam and Ray in a ladder match. It is Bam Bam Bigelow, Umaga and Dude Love, First Blood. Dude Love gon' bleed. Trish versus Melina for the title. It is Trish. RVD and JBL standard matchup, and RVD wins. Cena versus Edge standard matchup. It is Edge. And Cactus Triple H in a TLC match in Nashville. Cactus gets the win. Interference. New deal. Contract. $70K to SmackDown. Great. Lovely. A 4-star Raw. And a, I would assume, 4 or 5 star. Well, yeah, it's, again, 3.5. I don't know. So 5.55 in the ratings, and SmackDown is 4.45. And no further injuries, I don't think. So even sending interference, I still lose in the ratings. So show me those reports. SmackDown was a solid 4-star SmackDown. 3 stars, 3 stars, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 4.5. Like, bro, 2 back-to-back cage matches for your titles is crazy. Meanwhile, 3.5. So, again, this is not a bad show. 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 4. Like, that is a very solid show, just not as good as SmackDown that had the 4.5s. It's getting close. But, again, I have a pay-per-view incoming, and if nobody gets hurt before then, it should be okay. Maybe. Still content. Great. Love it. Fatigue. Umaga, Triple H, JBL and Ray are the top 4 on fatigue. And contractually, Booker T, Cactus Jack, John Cena, Melina, great. I'm going to have no money. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 contracts to renew. I'm going to have nothing for nobody. 3 weeks, 2 weeks. The impending return of Stone Cold Steve Austin is soon. But we aren't there yet. And if that can't fix my ratings, I don't know what will. Okay, I'm attackslug. Thanks for watching. More videos right here. I'll see you next time. Actually, one last thing. Okay, this is good. We have all 6 rivalries. Awesome. All right, I'll see you next time, and I'm out.